the We Were Athletes Once podcast. I'm here, as always, with Julian, and I'm Cody, and we are going to talk about the greatest time of the year. We got playoff hockey at the end of this week. So we know the teams that are going to be in. All 16 teams are locked in. The Eastern Conference, completely set. We know who's playing who. We know the matchups that are happening. Central Division, we know what's happening, but the Pacific is still completely wide open. So we got a few games tonight, and I believe tomorrow, that are going to finish up this season to determine that placing. So there's one team that could lock in the division tonight, but there's also three teams that could overtake them or fall out into the wild card. So there's still a lot to play for in these last one or two games of the season for those specific teams. But before we get into that, we had some news come out in the last day or two that Jonathan Quick is calling it a career.
Yep. I think Kopitar is as well. Losing 2 games.
Yep. We knew Kopi was going. This was kind of his farewell. Glad to see them lock in that playoffs. Did you watch his little retirement kind of speech to the Kings fans?
It was good.
Fought back. My eyeballs were trying to sweat. I didn't let them. But yeah, watching a grown man who plays hockey and loves the sport, who's been at a team for 20 years, or whatever it's been, 17 to 20 years, whatever it is, with one team, talking to his fan base and trying his best not to lose it. It gets me. I can't help it. I miss those guys that just stick with a franchise. It just doesn't happen anymore. No. And to see one of those guys, and one of the best guys, man, Anze Kopitar is a absolute underrated stud player, and he has been for a long time. He is one of those guys that if you were a kid watching hockey, man, that is a guy to try and emulate. For me, he's the Western Conference Sasha Barkov. Like, those are my two, underrated, should get way more hype than they ever got, because they just play an awesome two-way game, and they're good on the dot, they're defensively responsible, and they can put the puck in the net. And they're great leaders for their teams.
100%.
So we're losing him, but we knew about him. This was his farewell tour, and I love when players get to do it. We don't know about the grade 8 yet.
I think he's gone.
He said, "I'll think about it." Didn't want to take the mic. Didn't want to promise anything. I have that same feeling. I think Ovi's done, at least in America. I can definitely see him going back to the KHL and playing because he loves hockey.
I think he said he wanted to. I think it was Moscow. I think it was. He wanted to go play one of the teams over there. He wanted to go play for them.
And that doesn't shock me at all. We see a lot of Russian players when they call it here. They want to go back home and play. I think Yager's still out there playing in the Czech league. So, and he's like 50 something, so which is insane. But yeah, so we'll see what ends up happening with Ovi, but we did not know Jonathan Quick was officially calling it a career. We knew it was coming at some point, but it finally happened. And as a Blues fan, I've had some really, really terrible Jonathan Quick memories. I've got a couple good ones, but most of them are really bad.
It's hard to get a good memory with such a good goal.
Yeah, which it stinks because you want to root for those American guys. And with Quickie, he goes down as the greatest American goalie of all time. Just thinking of all the guys that I grew up watching, the first names that popped into my mind from old school to new school was Richter and Van Viesbroek, and then more recently Ryan Miller. But over the last 2-3 years, Quick passed Miller for most wins all time as an American goalie. He's currently sitting at 12th all time. He's the only American goalie to win 3 Stanley Cups, and he won the Conn Smythe in the 2012 playoffs, and he earned it.
100%. He was key to a lot of those playoff runs.
Yeah. Those, looking back at those teams, those Kings teams were good defensively,
Yeah.
but they weren't like the runaway best teams out there.
No.
I definitely remember Quick standing on his head and winning series
100%.
and keeping them in it, specifically against the Blues at times. My fondest memory, and probably yours as well, is the overtime Alex Steen steal of Jonathan Quick to bury that shorthanded goal. It wasn't to win it; it was to push it to Game 7, I believe. But those are my good memories because there weren't many against Quick because he just stood on his head constantly. Absolute stud in net. So we wanted to make sure that people knew that this is it for Quickie. So hopefully you guys followed his career and you got to see some outstanding goaltending because, you just don't see a lot of goalies that are just number ones for 10, 15 years anymore.
Yeah.
We are in the era of 1A, 1B goalies, and I think the era of the number one is starting to come to an end, and there are very few left. So we need to acknowledge them, and we need to appreciate what they do while they're doing it. Because right now, like, we just lost Flower. Yep. We're losing Quick. Like, what's left? Vasilevsky, Shesterkin, Sorokin.
I would kind of say Shesterkin and Sorokin are kind of on like I would say they're older, but I feel like they're kind of newer for a goalie.
Yeah, but like outside of them, kind of John Gibson. But he's been so injury prone.
Yeah.
And then
I guess Carey Price technically still has a contract.
That doesn't count. He's been retired for like 3 years. And then Hellebuck. That's really, and Bobrovsky. We're gonna lose him soon. He's getting up there.
Yep.
And so I as someone who grew up playing goal, I love watching some of these guys because it's insane. Some of the stuff they're doing and the shape they're staying in into their mid to late 30s into 40s. It's a very, very demanding position. These guys are losing 15 to 25 pounds a night.
Yep, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy what it does to your body, which is why I need to start playing some goal again so I can shed some of this old man weight that I'm gaining. So yeah, but this is a goalie who's going to go down as a top 15 goalie of all time, and you can argue into the top 10 if you really want to for what he's done because there's not a lot of guys who've won 3 cups. So where does he stand for you? How you kind of see that?
I kind of like the argument for the top 10. I mean, personally, in my lifetime, there's only been a few outstanding, amazing goalies that stand out as much as him. So I kind of have a more recency bias there, whereas I've got to see some of those other guys. So I think you could argue him into the top 10 just as what he's done for the Kings organization, what he's done for just like hockey in general. I think he was a standout goalie for what was probably been like 15, 16 years now.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. And doing what he's done, winning cups, standing on his head, playoffs, making that team a whole lot better is I think you said he had a Conn Smythe as well.
Yep, 2012 he won it.
It does happen, but a goalie really has to earn that.
Yes.
And so I think you could argue he's top 10.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who I'm like. I've got a few biases, but for me, right off the bat, Brodeur, Waugh, Hasek, Jock Plant, old school, but he's probably got to be on that list. I have a Grant Fuhr bias, so I'm putting him above him. If the great one says it's the greatest goalie of all time, I'm going to believe him.
That's fair. Could you put Roberto Luongo above him?
I think you do. Glenn Hall, because you're going to have to put some of these old school guys that kind of change it. So, like, Glenn Hall, Terry Sawchuk need to be on that list.
Esposito. I feel like they're very even.
Esposito and, like, Ken Dryden and some of those guys are going to be pushing it.
Fleury's probably better.
Fleury's up there for sure. I don't know if I have Fleury above him. I like Fleury better than him, but I don't know if I put them stat for stat and look at what they did,
Yeah.
I think they're going to be pretty close.
I think if
Um,
Picarine's career was a little bit longer and he won a cup, he would be up there.
yeah, but you can't not win
No.
cups, especially when you're competing against a guy
Yeah.
that's got 3. And that's where I start to, like you said, where does Bob sit? If Bob hadn't won those last 2 cups,
He wouldn't be up there.
he'd be he's going to be top 8
Oh, yeah.
minimum of wins all time. Um, but without the cups, you kind of got to put those guys in there.
Yeah.
Um, and it's really hard because you're talking old school versus new school.
Yeah.
And I almost want to separate them. Like, if you weren't at least a mid 90s or later goalie, it's almost not fair to compare it.
Yeah.
Like, if you weren't the Brodeur, Hasek, Wah, like that's the very beginning, and Fuhrer, like if that's the very beginning of the era, it's really hard to compare the Espositos and the Sawchucks and the Bernie Parents and
Yeah.
all of those type of guys. So it depends on how you look at it. But if you're looking stats, you're looking cups, you're looking Conn Smythe, you're looking what they did for their team, it's hard to argue against top 10 and at a bare minimum top 15.
Yeah, 100%.
So congratulations to Jonathan Quick on an absolutely amazing career. And that, doesn't include the 2012 or 2014 Sochi Olympics, where he was also outstanding for the U.S. I think it was like 217 goals against and a 923 save percentage.
Yeah.
So he played outstanding for the U.S. as well. It was a very disappointing tournament for us. I remember waking up very early to watch us lose to Slovakia per usual, or not Slovakia, Finland per usual, and that sucked. But Jonathan Quick played outstanding.
Yep.
All right, now that we did that, let's talk playoff hockey. Man, our team's not in it, and I'm still pumped for the playoffs.
Oh, I'm the biggest Sabres fan there's ever been.
Oh, 100%. I'm rooting hard for the Sabres, and I'm rooting in the West hard for Utah.
Yep.
I will be all on board Clayton Keller and that Utah team, and I'm going to absolutely be rooting Buffalo on.
Agreed.
And maybe Ottawa. I don't like to root for Canadian teams, but I like the underdogs, and, people hate them. I'm going to root for the Kachucks, and people can suck it. I don't care. You may not like them, but I'm hoping for a trade this offseason to bring them to St. Louis. That's just me. So let's talk about the West real quick. Right now, what we know is that Colorado has locked up the President's Trophy. They are the 1 seed. Right now, as it stands, LA is the second wild card. I don't think LA can catch anyone.
No.
So LA, well, that's not true. They can catch people in the Pacific.
Yeah.
So as it stands right now, it would be Colorado, LA, but that can definitely change. The only matchup we know for sure is the Dallas Stars against the Minnesota Wild, and that just doesn't even seem fair. Like, why is this a first-round matchup?
That's by far the best first-round matchup, but I kind of wish that was a second-round matchup or maybe even a Western Conference final.
Yeah, and the problem with this is one of those teams is going to win, and they get the pleasure of probably playing Colorado.
Yeah.
Which is an absolute shame that the 3 best teams, 2 of them are playing each other in the first round, 2 of them are playing them in the second round, and it's not the conference finals. That's a joke to me.
I agree.
This is my biggest qualm with the NHL playoff system. We got to change it. The Central is hands down not even close to the Pacific, and the Pacific just is a cakewalk. Like, honestly, I would rather be the first wild card team than the 2 or the 3 in the Central, because I would rather play the number 1 in the Pacific than play whoever's the number 2 in the Central.
I agree.
Like, it's ridiculous that it's that way. I need this system change. Maybe this will be the year that NHL finally talks about it, where we do a 1 through 8, whether we do a 1, 2, and then 3 through 8. Like if you want to still give the 1 seed of the division some kind of bonus for winning the division,
Yeah.
fine. But it can't be this setup. It's
No,
just
I agree.
it's ridiculous that we're seeing the best matchups in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah. I mean, Minnesota would be in first place in the Pacific, and Utah is almost there, and they're a wild card team.
Yeah,
And they potentially could, if say the Pacific loses out, Mammoth could end with more points than a Pacific team.
yeah. You could have 4 teams in the Central ahead of the number 1 in the Pacific.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. But let's talk about these teams because, like we said, the only matchup we know is Dallas and Minnesota, and I think it's going to be a fantastic, physical, high-scoring series.
I agree.
And I'm excited to watch it. But the teams that are locked in, we have Colorado, we have Dallas, we have Minnesota in the Pacific, and we have Utah. Those are the 4 from the Central. And actually, this is the first year in several years that the Pacific has finally gotten a 4th team in.
Yep.
It hasn't been 5 out of the Central. So, a little bit of a shocker. From the Pacific, we are going to get Vegas. We're going to get Edmonton, Anaheim, and LA. Any teams that shocked you here?
Are you talking start of the season till now?
Sure. Start of the season and from kind of that last playoff push run that we had talked about.
Yeah. Well, if we're talking start of the season, you were really high on the Ducks. I wasn't so convinced, and for a long period there, they held the first spot, and they still could get it. And for how young their team is, they're pretty solid. The goaltending's a little shaky from time to time, but Dostal's he can do it. If he's plays at his best, he can do it. I think the Kings are awful. I don't. Kempe's a great player. I mean, Kopitar, he's a little washed now, but you can't hate on him. I don't really like their defense. I think their goaltender's Darcy Kemper. I could be wrong. I think it is. And yeah, I don't really get.
It's been a little.
I mean, the Panarin trade was fine, I guess, for them. They didn't really lose much except a great prospect. But signing Panarin at what they did, I don't get that for the build. I think they have a good, decent prospect pool and some players to build around, and I don't think Panarin's that guy. I think from the last playoff push, we thought the Kings were going to make it, but like still, just the Pacific being the Pacific, I'm surprised. Not so more surprised, but I was more 50-50 that maybe the Predators could get it done, but obviously it didn't happen.
Which,
at the same time, the Predators.
I was also shocked that the Predators did what they did.
Yeah, I agree, and just on a whole widespread thing, I'm surprised how bad the Pacific is this year.
It's awful.
I mean, the Golden Knights on paper are not a bad team besides maybe goaltending. And you're telling me they can't string together more than 40 wins?
Yeah. Yeah, in LA, it seems like Anton Forsberg has taken over the net from Kemper. I believe he was one of the 3 stars of the week this last week in April.
Got him in the playoffs.
So, got him in the playoffs. I think, what did he go? He went 3-0-0 with a shutout last week. So, sometimes it's not about having the best goalie. It's about having the hot goalie. So if he comes in hot and steals a series, it can happen. We've watched it happen many a times in the playoffs. This is the time that goalies can steal you something.
Oh, yeah.
We know that well. I think about, again, Jonathan Quick doing that. I think about, if I want to go back further, watching a really good Blues team losing to Vancouver and Dan Cloutier, like winning ridiculous stuff. And I'm like, what? So this is definitely a time where a goalie can steal a series. And I think we lost Julian for a second. So hopefully he pops back in here. We'll see. I'm going to keep on talking. So when he pops back in, we will talk with him. But for me, like looking at this Western Conference, He's back. For me,
I
looking
don't
at
know
this
what happened.
Western Conference, yeah. I think my biggest surprise out of the West was Winnipeg and St. Louis being as bad as they were.
Yeah,
Um,
I had high. Well, the Jets season last year was awesome. They didn't really go far in the
President's Trophy
playoffs, but
winner, yeah.
they were a great
But
team. The Blues were a bit of a
yeah,
sneaky team, and I thought adding Suter and Bukestad was interesting, but it looked all right at the start of the season. One of them's gone now, but I didn't mind the signings then. I kind of had high hopes based off what we were doing last season.
yeah, I think I had Minnesota being like my first team out,
Yeah,
and I think I had LA out, which would put the Blues and Winnipeg in
yeah,
for me, is what my original thought was. And I think my other biggest surprise is San Jose being as good as they
yep.
were.
Pellegrini had a
Um,
great year.
I mean, Celebrini, man, he should win the
Yep,
MVP. I don't care what anyone says.
I agree.
Um, but yeah, that in Vancouver just being the most horrific team we've ever seen was pathetic.
I think
They're gonna get last place by they're 14 points back of Chicago right now for the second worst team. Like that is just pathetic. They need to fire everyone and sell off the team
I agree.
and start
Yep.
over. Like they need to go scorch earth. Um, so for you, looking at those teams in the West, Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota, Vegas, Edmonton, Anaheim, Utah, and LA. Which of these teams do you feel like legitimately has a chance to come out of the West?
Am I picking one or two?
You can give me as many as you want. Like, who can you see actually getting through this gauntlet?
Dallas Stars. The Avalanche recently haven't convinced me. They have not convinced me recently, the Avalanche, but they're a great team. You can't write them off. I think Stars, Avs, and as bad as the Golden Knights have been towards his 6-0-1 with them, I think they have a really easy path, at least to the Western Conference final. If they can get through Utah, I think the Golden Knights have a. You can always win a series if you get lucky, if you get to the Western Conference final. And I think you can't write them out.
Yeah, I think again, and that's going to be a key thing. Can they get past
Yeah,
Utah?
Utah's a great team.
Um, I love the young forwards in Utah a lot. I like some of the moves they made this offseason, shoring up that back
Yeah.
end. I think they need a little bit more, but I'm not guaranteeing
No.
Vegas coming out of that series a
No,
winner.
the only reason I have
Um,
them is they have a lot more playoff experience in that front end.
they do. My problem is I don't know if they have any goaltending that can keep up.
No, that's the problem
Like
there. It's a problem with a lot
like
of these teams.
Carter Hart's been giving up weak
Yep.
goals, and they've kind of been relying on him, and it's not been
No.
good. Um, I mean, if they end up playing each other, like best case scenario for Vegas is that LA passes Utah.
Yeah.
If LA passes Utah, um, I think that's it. That should be an easy first round
Yeah.
win. Um, I don't know what to make of the Ducks in Edmonton right now.
I like what the Ducks have. I mean, if that is what the series ends up being, if Draisaitl isn't back, which I don't know if he will be or not, they keep saying
That's
I don't.
if Draisaitl's not back, they're not winning.
No, I'd agree. McDavid's great, but I think the Ducks have a very, I'm not saying skilled back end, but a very big back end that can maybe shut, I'm not saying always, but maybe have a chance to shut him out and keep him on the outsides, and Truba and Gudis and some guys that are really big.
I mean, Gudis will just hurt him.
Yeah, need me and get suspended for a game.
What's it matter if you take him out for a series?
Exactly. So I think the Ducks would win that.
Please don't do that. We want to watch McDavid play.
Yeah. And I think I trust Dostal a little bit more than Tristan Jarry, or if Jarry does end up getting pulled, Ingram.
Shoot, I think Ingram's been playing better than Jarry.
No, 100%. But at the same time, it's there. But
I don't know if they'll start him.
No.
But I would start Ingram.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Ducks better than Edmonton, top to bottom. I like Edmonton's high-end skill better. But I like some of that grittiness, like the Cutter Gauthiers and stuff that that Anaheim has to be able to wear down. I mean, you think about it, 7-game series, those forwards have to go into a corner and run into Trouba and Gudis every night on different pairings.
Yep.
That is going to wear you down, and that's something we got to think about with these series is
100%.
Which forwards are going to last in the corners with these D-men? Who is going to be those guys? What team is going to lay the body on people night in and night out, and by game 4 wear on these dudes to where they don't want to go into the corner anymore? And I think I think Anaheim has some of those guys.
I think the Stars have that too.
Yeah, I think Edmonton, they're going to have to outspeed, outskill the Ducks, but I think the Ducks, if that ends up happening, will win that series.
Yeah.
I think Utah might beat Vegas, just goaltending alone.
That can always happen.
If that happens, I'm going to go out on a limb. My hot take is going to be that whoever wins the Dallas-Minnesota series is going to beat Colorado.
I think so too. I think if I had to pick a cup favorite from the West, my number
Dallas.
one, I'm going Dallas. I think it might be their year. And I've said that a couple years in a row now, but it's I think they got it.
It might be. Ottinger's solid.
Yeah.
That back end's good. They have several different lines of scoring options. They've got some guys that can wear on you, but they also have a lot of speed and skill down the middle too.
Yeah.
Like I think Rope Hintz is one of the most underrated players. Like
he's so
fast, so skilled, gets under your skin, can put the puck in the net. Like,
and he's not even
good
part of their skill.
Good on the dot. Like, yeah, and he's not one of those guys that you think of.
No.
And that doesn't include the Radek Foxa fourth line guys that are going to wear on you and play that physical veteran game.
Tyler Myers edition with the deadline.
Again, you're getting a big physical dude.
Yep.
And then you still have Amaro Heiskanen, who's going to play 30 minutes a night in the playoffs and give you awesome defense against McKinnon or whoever's out there.
Him and Harley have been outstanding.
So I think that first series, Dallas-Minnesota, is going to be really good.
Yep.
I do think Dallas is going to get it, but if Minnesota can pull it out and one of those goalies steps up and takes it over, I think either of these teams are capable of beating Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
If Colorado's power play can't figure it out and it keeps looking like it has been, and they're only getting scoring from that top line,
it's not going to work.
The other team's winning.
Yeah, it's not going to work in the playoffs. Might win you a game. It's not going to win you 4.
Yeah, you'll win a game or 2, but you're not winning 4 like that. So maybe it's not a hot take, but I think whoever wins Dallas-Minnesota is who's coming out of the West. All right, let's go to the East because we do know every matchup. So we have the number 1 overall seed, which is the second best team in the NHL. I think they're like a point up on Dallas, is the Carolina Hurricane and the Ottawa Senators. We have
matchup.
What?
I really like that matchup. That skill.
Tell me what you're thinking.
Skill and speed. They don't have like the biggest guys outside of Tkachuk. I don't like Ottawa's defense that much, but outside of Sanderson and Shabbat, it's kind of. And but the forwards on both teams,
I like that.
So much skill and so much speed. There's going to be a lot of goals in that series.
Yeah, I think I'm really interested to see how the goaltending stacks up in that series.
Is Bussy still the starter for the Hurricanes?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what they do. Yeah, I saw the game the other night, and they had oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name.
Anderson?
Yeah, Freddie Anderson was in.
Yeah.
And he played a good game, but it's just been Bussy all year, and he's been solid. But, I mean, he's not young, but he is a rookie. Experience-wise, he doesn't have it. He's never been in an NHL playoffs. So if they're starting him, what are you going to get from him? Like, he could be absolutely filthy still, like he's been all year. Yeah. A lot of people are just like, oh, rookie goalies, we're going to write him off. Well, Jordan Binnington won a Stanley Cup being a half of a season rookie. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I like the young and dumb and don't know any better and are just going to go out there and leave it all out there. But then sometimes the pressure gets to them. So I think that'll be interesting. I also think it's going to be interesting to see what we get out of Carolina.
Yep.
Defense and goaltending wise, because we know they've got the horses up front to score a lot of goals. Like you said, I think this is going to be a high scoring series. I don't see Ottawa beating them.
No, but I think
there's just too much there. But I do think Ottawa is a much more bigger physical team that can wear on them. And we've watched what big physical teams can do when they oppose their will. So I'm not counting them out. I just don't see Ottawa being able to pull this one off.
I think you get Carolina in 6 there.
I could see it. I could definitely see it. The other matchup that's coming out of there, love it. We got rivals, Pittsburgh and Philly.
That's like the most ideal thing for potentially Malkin, Crosby, Letang, last trio. I don't know who's going to go, who's going to stay, who knows. But
yeah,
battle for Pennsylvania.
That's Battle of Penn. I'm pumped for that. I just okay. This was my biggest shocker in the East, was that Philly went on a streak and didn't just get a wild card spot. They took that third spot and pretty handedly.
100%.
And we kind of wrote them off 2 weeks ago of if they could make it. We're just like, we just don't see it. And they're the only team in the East that was in the race that acted like they were in the race. Columbus fell off. Detroit fell off. They both just tanked, which we love in St. Louis. Thank you for that first round pick. That's going to be lottery now. But this one, like, what Philly are we getting? Are we getting the Broad Street Bullies? Are we like what is this team going to do? Like, that's where, like, I don't know who wins this series. I just think both teams are kind of mid.
I think it comes down to which kind of mid goalie does better that week. And who's Pittsburgh's is Tristan Jarry. I mean, you've seen him in the playoffs before. He can win. I mean, that helps when you have Draisaitl and McDavid, or Skinner, sorry, Stuart Skinner.
Yeah,
that's who I meant, not Jarry. That used to be the goalie. And then
he's either really good or really bad.
Yeah, and the Flyers, is it Fedotov?
They've got Vladar and Eriksson.
Vladar's been good this year. You know what? Flyers.
I think Vladar has been who's had the net recently.
Yeah. See, that's one where it could go just either way. The Penguins seem, with their amalgamation of forwards, know how to score goals. I don't know how it happens. They've just picked up a bunch of random names, and you've got like 2 30-goal scorers there. I don't think you can predict that one.
Here's the thing. Dan Vladar set a record for him for career highs in wins and goals against. He's got 29 wins this season with a 2.42 goals against. Eriksson has not been great. 687, 315. So it will be Dan Vladar. And hopefully you do not have to pull him because Eriksson has not been good. But I really like this forward group. Trevor Zegras has bounced back.
Yep.
He looks like a good hockey player again. Michkov, I still think has a ways to go, but he's okay. But you've got Travis Konecny. I like Tyson Forrester enough. Owen Tippett, he can score.
I like him.
He's not going to play defensively all that much, but he can score.
I like him. He scores some gross goals against us every time we play.
Sean Couturier, Christian Dvorak. I like Jamie Drysdale.
Did you see the contract they gave Dvorak? I think they extended him. He got $6 million.
Did I miss that?
I
remember him getting it. What was it? Let me. Side note. 5 years, 5.15. It's not terrible. It's not for the new NHL.
For Dvorak, though.
I know. But this is a team. This is why I'm picking Philly in this series. That fourth line is going to be Noah Cates, Garnet Hathaway. it's gonna be mean, and that doesn't include, like, they brought up, like, Denver Barkey's been playing a little bit, and they just brought up Porter Martone. Like, they've got some bodies
Yep.
that can play physical. And that's why I'm like, what Philly are we getting? Because I think they have enough that they can kind of play those third and fourth line as just bully minutes
Yep.
and just go out there and put a pounding on some dudes and then throw the puck at the net and cause mayhem.
Yep.
And so I think there's going to be some big dirty goals in this, and they're going to go to Philly. And like, their defense isn't bad. Like, it's not great, but you've got Risto, you've got Juracek, you've got Drysdale, you've got Sanheim, you've got Cam York. Like, it's not bad.
No.
So I think for me, this is one I see Philly winning it. But I'm not having them pass Carolina. No. I think Carolina is going to be the team that comes out on that side of the bracket.
Yep.
Then we have the exciting side of the bracket for me, where who knows what is going to happen. We have Buffalo, Boston, and Tampa, Montreal. This is another Central versus Pacific type of thing, minus Carolina being good.
Yep.
Because that is loaded.
I agree.
Buffalo, after a 14-year playoff drought,
that's going
is
to be
in the playoffs as the 1 seed in that division.
That's going to be the best atmosphere, I think, outside of the Canadians.
You have Buffalo, who we know what happens when Buffalo does anything. If you've never watched a Buffalo Bills game and them tailgating, they are psychopaths, and I'm here for it. Who wants to be half naked, jumping off of a ladder and smashing your body into a table to break it in the freezing snow? Buffalo fans. That's who. And they have home ice advantage. It is going to be electric in that arena.
I'm taking the Sabres there. I think they have a great team. The defense can be a little shaky at times, but that's another one where is the goaltending going to hold up? They have two all right goalies in Alex Lyon and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Who's going to take that step?
And, well, the thing is, on top of that, they've got Colton Ellis, who's been also on fire lately.
Blues legend.
Like, he just had a 37-save shutout the other night. Yeah, please send him back to St. Louis to be our backup next year after we trade Jordan Binnington. In fact, if you would like Jordan Binnington to be your starter, that can be part of the piece coming back. Thank you, Buffalo.
Yeah.
There's my my rant for tonight. But you've got Boston. And what do we know about Boston? They're experienced.
They are.
They play physical, and you have, I think, the best pure goal scorer right now in the NHL in Pasta.
Cole Caulfield.
Maybe, but when it comes to big-time clutch goals and clutch moments, I think I want Pasta. Like, it's Pasta, it's Kucherov, and right now, Cole Caulfield with his, 51 goals?
51. Save my fantasy.
Insane. Did you move on?
I won it all.
You won the whole thing, all because of Cole Caulfield. There it is. Nice. But, again, what does that goaltending look like? None of those guys have playoff experience. No. So you're getting UPL or Alex Lyon or Colton Ellis, who's a rookie, who none of them have playoff experience. That's not in the AHL.
I agree, yeah.
So, their defense, I think, is decent. I wouldn't say good, but I think they're decent enough.
As bad as their trade deadline kind of went, I think, didn't they get Sam Carrick as well, or was that the Wild?
They got several. I feel like they got several small pieces.
They got what's his name? Logan Stanley and Luke Shen for the D.
They got Shen and Stanley and Carrick.
Yeah, Carrick. So you got three guys who will lay the
and they added Tanner Pearson.
Yep. So you got four guys there that play a pretty physical game. I think Luke Shen, for what his role is probably a third pairing shutdown D. He does it pretty well.
And Logan Stanley
That's
is
huge.
a giant piece of crap who is going to be dirty,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to be physical. Can't stand him, but
Yep.
that's the kind of guy you want in
Yep.
the playoffs.
Yep.
And you've got him and Luke Shen to do
Yep.
that. And you can spread them out a little bit. So if you want to put one of them with Powers to be that
Yep.
mean, gritty enforcer and let Powers kind of do his thing and lead the rush and jump into plays, and you've got your stay-at-home defenseman back there. You don't got to worry about he's going to be in front of the net. He's going to be cross-checking and hacking at shins.
Yep.
So yeah, it's going to be. I've got Boston as well.
I took Sabres.
Or Boston. I got Buffalo as well. Sorry.
Sabres in 7.
I don't think it goes 7.
That's interesting. I want to see more hockey, so I like 7.
I mean, I like 7. Is Swayman going to carry? Because that's what it comes down to.
No.
Swayman has to carry. Pasta has to be elite.
Yep.
And Buffalo goaltending has to fall apart, I think.
Yep.
I think those 3 things need to happen for Boston to win.
Yep.
I don't know. I just look at their team. What is James Hagen's going to be for this team?
No.
I love that they called him up, but
not for the playoffs.
I don't know if he's even playing. Like I said, you've got Pasta, you got Geeky. Obviously, McAvoy is your guy back there.
Yeah.
Fraser Mitten, like Pavel Zacha, Arvidsson, Mason Lohrei, Elias Lindholm.
Yeah.
You've got Zadorov, you've got Janot, Mittelstadt. Lindholm is lost a step, getting a little older.
Yeah.
Kastelik can be physical, but like this team is going to be one that you need them to wear on the other team to be able to win this series. And I just think like McAvoy will be physical.
100%.
For sure. For sure. Lohrei is a big boy. Is he going to be physical? Probably. Nikita Zadorov is going to be physical. Tanner Janot is going to hit everything that moves. I just don't think it's enough there. Like, where is their scoring coming from outside of Pasta and Geeky? I don't like this forward group.
No. You might get a rare Elias Lindholm goal, but... Yeah. I'm thinking there's 2 of them.
I'm trying to pull up their line combinations just to see. So, this is the problem. Your first line is Geeky, Lindholm, Pasta.
Yeah.
Isamont, Zacha, Arvidsson is your line 2. That's terrible. Hagens, Mitten, and Kustaninov is line 3. And then Janot, Kuraly, and Kastelik is line 4.
Yeah.
Where is your secondary scoring coming from?
It's not.
Like, you better hope it's Charlie McAvoy scoring a lot. Like, these pairing, I didn't even look at their defensive pairing. Full disclosure, don't get to watch a lot of Boston hockey outside of highlights. Why is Charlie McAvoy pairing with Jonathan Aspero? Who? And then Lindholm and Lohrei and Zadorov and Peak.
They must just be trying to balance out the lines.
Because if you put Lindholm with McAvoy and you put, like, it should probably be Zadorov and Lohrei as that second pair, but then you have 2 less mobile, big physical defensemen.
Yep.
That a fast team is going to just blow around.
Yeah.
And then Aspero and Peak, which are both younger, more inexperienced guys that you don't want to pair together. The more I look at this, the more I think Buffalo might just blow them out.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think I'm looking at it. I'm going to say Buffalo in 5. I don't think it's going to be that close. And on top of that, Buffalo's just been on fire since the Olympic break. I don't think there's been a better team in hockey, and they're going to go into the playoffs still pretty hot. Yeah. And they're going to be riding this high of not being in the playoffs for 14 years and coming into that arena with that electric atmosphere. Their whole city is going to be eating, sleeping, breathing blue and yellow.
Yep.
And it's going to be awesome. So that's going to be fun. And then when Buffalo wins, they're going to get the winner of Tampa Bay and Montreal. And I think this is my second favorite series in all of the playoffs after Dallas and Minnesota.
This is
how do you see this one? Because this is the fun one.
This is one where I think Tampa wins it because of goaltending.
I was thinking the same thing, but what happens when Montreal is starting?
It's either Montembeault or Dobis.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure they're starting Jacob Dobis.
I don't know how to say that. I just say Dobe.
I think it's So I'm pretty sure they're starting him. Montembeault, I think, is the number 3 at this point.
Yeah, he's been terrible. They've got Fowler as well.
Yes. So what happens if Jacob Dobe struggles and Jacob Fowler comes in and plays lights out like he has this season? Because I think that's what's interesting for me.
Yeah.
Because I think Cam Fowler is not just the goalie of the future. I think he should be the goalie of the now. I'm trying to pull up his stats for this year because I remember how he started. I want to see how he finished to make sure I'm not just crazy that he's been as good as I thought he was. 908, 243, 9 wins and a shutout. So he fell off a little bit.
Yeah.
So he was 9-6-2. So he fell off a little bit because he had that shutout right away. And he had kind of a little streak going on there of wins. So he's been good, not outstanding. Jacob Dobes. Let me just pull his stats real quick. And then we got Jacob Dobes, who went 21, 16, and is that right? That doesn't seem right. No. 29, 10, and 4.
Yeah.
901 save percentage, 278 goals against. So none of the goaltending has been outstanding, but it's all very young outside of Montembeault, who I don't think is going to see the ice.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
So
both teams can score. Both teams have pretty good defense. I think Bassey wins the series.
Yeah, I think Tampa's going to win. I just want to look at the defensive pairings.
Yeah.
For the Canadians before I make that final call.
Dobson.
So you've got Caulfield, Suzuki, Slav. Very good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Texier, again, insane that he's on their second line. Newhook, Demidov, Kapanen, Bolduc, Doc, Vlano, Evans, Gallagher, Goulian, Engstrom, Hudson, and Reinbacher.
Reinbacher's playing?
He got called up the other night. Jackeye and Struble.
Struble was playing. I didn't even know he was still playing. He scored like 2 goals in a week. It was like his first 2, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And then Dobes and Fowler.
Yeah.
I don't think Montreal's ready.
No, not yet. They're getting there. The forwards are there, I think. They're getting the offensive group's getting.
I don't. I think the defense is getting there. I like Jackeye as that third pair defenseman. He's going to be a problem. Can he stay out of the penalty box and not do something stupid? That's a question. Lane Hudson can be a game changer. We know that.
Yep.
Caden Gooley, great defenseman already. They need to work on that right side of the defense. My problem with their forward group, they need a number 2 center desperately.
Yeah.
Like, this is the team that needs to go out and be like, St. Louis, what does it take for us to get Robert Thomas? Because then we're talking. I don't like Texier on that second line. Demidov is a stud. I would love to get him some real line mates. Could you imagine what he could do if he had Robert Thomas on his line?
Ridiculous things.
Bolduc, as much as people hated the trade early on, and in Montreal they loved it, he has fallen off a cliff.
Yep,
he is not a center.
No.
He should be on the right wing. Let him rip the puck. That is what he is good at.
Yep.
Do not give him the defensive responsibility. He is a second-year player. He's not ready.
No.
I would rather see Kirby Dach at center and Bolduc on his wing.
Yep.
I would rather see Jake Evans as the second or third line center than on that fourth line. I would love to see they've got a lot of young skill. I think they need a little time to develop. I think they need a little more experience. I think they need a little more grit on the offensive side. So because of that, and because of Tampa's experience, and because of Andre Vasilevsky, I definitely think Tampa is going to win this series. I don't think it's going to 7. I see 6 at most.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it'll be 2-2. They'll split 1-1 the first trip, and then Tampa will take it away. For the first 2 trips, sorry. Home and away. They'll go 1-1.
Yeah.
And then Tampa will run away with it.
Yeah. And this is one that I worry about, that if Tampa goes up 2-0 right away, that it could spiral real quick.
I agree.
Like if they go 2-0 and they get down a goal early in that third game at home, then I think we could start to see problems.
Yeah.
But it's going to be hard not to play in front of those fans.
Yeah.
In Montreal, because that place is crazy.
Yes, it is.
So I think, like you said, outside them and Buffalo, I think are going to be the 2 craziest home arenas.
Yep.
I really hope Utah has an insane stadium atmosphere, because they're finally in the playoffs as that first year being in the playoffs in this town. So I hope Utah really gets behind them and makes it fun. Now we get to the fun one. If it goes the way we think, Buffalo and Tampa.
Give me the Buffalo Sabres.
Let's go. I've got the Buffalo Sabres. Is this you think Buffalo will win, or is this Buffalo want Buffalo to win?
It's both. It's both. I love Tage Thompson. I think the Sabres.
I do too.
They had an amazing game. I think it was a week or 2 ago. I think it went like 7-6. And I think that was them. And it was just a tilt of a game, scoring everywhere. Just everybody was getting in. It was an awesome game. I think Buffalo wins it. I have Buffalo losing in the Cup final to the Stars in the bracket me and my roommate made yesterday, just trying to look at it before it was set. I love the Sabres. I want it to happen. I don't think it's their cup. They could not be cup bound, but I think they're at least Eastern Conference final bound.
Yeah, I want Buffalo to win. I like what they did at the deadline to bring up that physicality, to be a better suited for the playoff team. It's hard for me not to pick Tampa because of the goaltending.
Yep, no, that's very fair.
So I think I'm going to take Tampa and have Tampa Carolina as my Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I will be rooting my heart out for Buffalo.
Yeah.
I love some of those players they've got there. I am the biggest, like you said, I love Tage Thompson, but Alex Tuck is one of those guys that I love.
Yep.
And so, I believe he's from Buffalo.
Yeah, he is.
If I'm not mistaken. Being a Buffalo dude to lead the Sabres,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's born from Syracuse. So yeah, so he's a New York kid to go lead the Sabres. That would be awesome. Yeah. As one of those guys that I think is super underrated for what he does. I'll be rooting for him. I think Tampa and Vashi is going to be too much. I think that Tampa experience is going to be a lot. And don't forget, they still have Victor Hedman.
Yeah. Do not forget about Jordan Greenway. Come on.
Jordan Greenway.
He's got it.
He's so forgotten that Minnesota got rid of him. So for you've got Carolina, you have Buffalo. You're picking Buffalo.
Yeah, I think the Hurricanes are cursed or something to lose in the Eastern Conference Final every single year, and I don't think that changes this year. It's the goaltending, and you can say the same thing about Buffalo. It's the goaltending, but
yeah.
I think the Sabres hype, they're going to live it up.
Every part of me, because I have Carolina and Tampa, every part of me is like, Tampa's got to win it because Carolina's cursed. I think this is the year Carolina breaks through and gets to the finals and loses.
Yep. The Stars, I think, are
whoever comes out of the West is winning the cup. I just don't see a team that can compete with Dallas, Minnesota, Colorado.
No.
I just think they're too good.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't want to count out the Pacific teams, but I just don't see anyone from the Pacific being able to compete with those Central teams.
I don't think they're winning 4 games.
I don't either.
Unless there's some.
All right, so without Western Conference set, you have the Dallas Stars winning the cup.
Yep.
This hurts me in every way because I hate Jamie Benn. I hate Jamie Benn. I think, like I said, whoever wins of Dallas and Minnesota, I think is going to the cup.
Yep.
And I think whoever wins the West wins the cup. So I have either Dallas or Minnesota. Gun to my head right now, goaltending wins that series. Dallas wins the cup.
Yep, I agree.
I'm taking Ottinger over whoever. I mean, I'm sure it will be Gustafsson to start.
Yeah.
If he scuffles, they'll have Wallstedt in. But I just think that Ottinger has been there, done that, and he's just solid all the time.
Yep, I agree.
No highs, no lows. He will be very good for you.
Yep.
He's not letting in any squeakers, and if he does, it is not going to affect him.
No.
So out of the entire West, Jake Ottinger is my favorite goalie in the playoffs. Dostal, whoever's in Edmonton. Carl Vejmelka's been really good for Utah, but I'm not taking him over Ott. No one in Vegas has been good. Gustafsson and Wallstedt both have their moments. LA is, who did I say it was starting now? Because Anton Forsberg.
Yeah.
And then the combo of Wedgwood, Blackwood, who stats are really good, but they play for Colorado, so it doesn't count. They haven't been that great.
No.
So I'm taking the goaltending in Ottinger, which I almost did in the East with Vashi, but I think somehow Carolina gets it done this year. Just too much firepower up front.
That's fair.
All right, well, we see it similar. I hate doing that. We both agree that Dallas is the team that we are taking in the finals, which is also good because if Colorado can lose, St. Louis gets a better pick, so let's go. But again, thank you, Detroit. Any last-minute things before we head out? Because we have playoff hockey before our next episode. Playoffs start Saturday. We won't be on again until next Tuesday when we talk, and it'll get posted either Tuesday night or Wednesday during the day. So we won't see you until 2-3 games into these series to kind of talk about what we see going on, surprises, how we see it finishing out. So any other things before we head out and we start preparing for the playoff hockey?
I'm more interested in to see which teams lose out better now to see who gets what pick.
Yeah, well, St. Louis is down 4-2 right now to Pittsburgh.
Snuggie scored
his
20th, though, so.
Let's go. Just scrolling real quick to make sure I don't miss any important games. Utah's up 2-1 on Winnipeg.
Nope, the Kings are tied 1-1.
Tied with Vancouver. Colorado's tied with Calgary. And that's it for tonight.
Yep, nothing.
Tomorrow.
I think that's the last day.
Tomorrow we get important games. We have
the Cup favorite.
Seattle and Vegas.
That's a big one.
Tomorrow night. Vegas wins that. They lock the Pacific number 1 spot up.
Yep.
Then on the 16th, which would be
Preds.
Thursday, you've got St. Louis, Utah, which I don't know.
I don't think
that doesn't matter. Utah is going to be the number 1 no matter what of the wild card. But you got Nashville, Anaheim. You have LA doesn't matter. You have Edmonton, Vancouver.
That matters.
And that matters. Yeah. So the Edmonton, Vancouver, and the Anaheim, Nashville On Thursday and tomorrow night, you need to watch Vegas and Seattle. So we got a 9 o'clock game here for us tomorrow that we need to watch, and we've got a 9 o'clock game, or no, an 8 o'clock game, 7 and 8 o'clock game on Thursday that we need to watch to see who's coming out in the Pacific, who's going to be the 1, the 2, the 3, and the second wild card, all up for grabs still in the Pacific Division. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We still got important games for 3 days. And then we have the most important, most magical time of the year, the greatest, the Stanley Cup playoffs, where we get old school hockey for 7-game series. Let's go. All right, I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Tune in next week. See what we got to say about the series that are going on. See if you agree or disagree with us. See, who you think is going to win. Give us your picks in the comments. If you think we are absolutely insane and you think one of these teams is going to go on a run that we think is not going to do well, if you think one of your team's goalie is going to get hot, put it in there. Let us know so that later you can flame us when we are wrong. That is fine. We cannot predict the future. We are just telling you what we think based on what we see, and we love engagement. So any thoughts that you have, any comments that you have, let us know in the comments. As always, thank you guys for watching. If you want to help, as always, like, subscribe, do the stuff, follow, hit the bell, whatever it is. I don't even know. And then if you'd like the code athletes for Dubby to get your 10% off for your refresh failing at words. Yeah, W energy. That's what I need right now. Clearly, I was drinking a Baja Blast, and that is not the energy my brain needs at 10 o'clock at night. So until next time, thank you guys for watching. And as always, see ya.